Yo, what's good, Josh? Your boy J Suave. I am the host of J Suave TV. I see the backdrops here. I already know we back to talk about that new episode of The Shot I dropped a couple hours ago. I had to get y'all this before I went on my trip, and I'll say this episode was a pretty good one. There were some things, admittedly, that I did not like about this episode, things that were included that I feel like didn't really need to be included. There was also a lot to like about the episode, so we're going to talk about everything that happened. And if I miss anything, you already know what y'all got to do. Just drop it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. With that said, though, before I get into my yap session about The Shot, y'all already know what y'all got to do beforehand. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things, and let's talk about The Shot 7-11. Alright, so when we pick up the episode we left off in the last one, Alicia and Bakari is having that intense conversation about what Bakari really knows in association with Rob's death. Now, in a video I dropped earlier this week, I did predict that Bakari would tell Alicia the truth, that Nuck actually did kill Rob, but whole time he stayed true to his original story. I watched that scene like, bruh, this nigga do not love his life. To play devil's advocate, he could just want to stay true to his own story because he doesn't want to switch up at this point. Alicia sees it as he's lying and gives her a reason to switch up. I could get it from that perspective. But brother, she's going to find out. He even says to Bakari before he leaves the house, oh, so you're loyal to Nuck. Say less. You're not getting that scholarship back. Matter of fact, you might lose your life too. We see throughout this episode, Bakari is going through it. We have whole boys in the hood references in this episode. Two of them, I think. The second one for sure, obviously, when he runs in the alleyway and the car pulls up and Jake's railing, Bakari! All I heard was, Ricky! I'm not too sure though with that first scene with Dwayne Wayne talking to Bakari, Jake, Papa, and the rest of the community though. I think that was Boys in the Hood. Y'all let me know in the comments if I'm tripping. Yeah, we clearly see Bakari facing the guilt of the decision of deciding to keep Nuck protected. Him and Nuck have a conversation in this episode. Bakari tells him, I feel like my life is in danger. Nuck says, why? Then he tells him that he thinks that Alicia knows that he knows who killed Rob. Nuck asks, why would she even think to ask that? And Bakari has to remind him, yo, I threw up at the scene of the crime. That's when Nuck gets to calling him a bitch. And I'm like, oh, so he's a bitch now. He literally says in this episode, I didn't even want to be your number two. You call me on my name right now is mad crazy. But you already know Nuck goes to his go-to line every time. You had no choice. And I'm just like, he did. In this situation, he could have gave your ass up. For the life of me, I don't know why everybody continues to protect this man Nuck. That man is not worth saving. Even before he took out duty, he had many punishable crimes that should have thrown him under the jail. People keep on protecting him. I don't know. And we're going into the season finale, so I really don't know what's about to happen with his character. One more thing, Bakari's storyline is he told Lene who actually killed Rob in this episode. So I'm pretty sure Lene's going to get that information to somebody before the season ends. I'm not sure if it's going to be Tiff though. Her water did break in this episode, so she's probably not going to be in a position to hear this news. Maybe she will be. Maybe Lene will tell Kiesha or something like that, and Kiesha will get the news back to Tiff. Some way, somehow, Tiff is going to find out about Nuck killing Rob. And when she does, I can't wait to see the expression on her face. Kiesha will be even more sweet if she gets told this news while holding Rob's baby in her hand. Really allow you to reflect on all the time you wasted fucking with Nuck this season. Moving on to Reg though, we see he starts off this episode having a conversation with Hannibal. More so a stare down to start. That boy Hannibal was sweating. Reg tells Hannibal to gather everybody up. It's time to get to pressing niggas. So we got Keith, Jackie the shooter, Angie, Candace, Hannibal, all at the table right now. And the two hitters from the last episode that ran up on that jewelry store. Reg is questioning everybody. He trying to get to the bottom of who could have set him up. And in the end, he doesn't really get an answer. But he does press Hannibal and Angie though, thinking that they were the ones responsible for what happened to him. He kicks everybody out the house after that. That man Keith said, I live here, buddy. Then Reg was like, everybody who don't live here, get up out of here. That shit was pretty funny to me, I ain't gonna lie. See, after this, Reg sets up this ploy to run up on this house later on the episode, and he employs Candace to be his lookout because she's the only person he can trust at this point. Or so he thinks. Because we see earlier on in the episode, Toussaint meets up with Alicia again, where she provides her vital intel on who Reg has been messing with, who he's been staying with this whole time. That being Candace, obviously, so Alicia goes to her place of work, putting words in her head, taking her on as a mentee, and give her the alias Terry so that Reg doesn't get confused when she hears that the person that she talked to earlier today was Alicia. Not gonna lie, masterful work out of Alicia in this episode. If it's one thing we can say Alicia does well throughout her time on the Shy, is utilize her manipulation tactics when she needs to. End out the episode with Reg trying to run up on this house and Candace texting Alicia saying that she's scared. And Alicia asks for her location and we don't see her text Alicia back. But it's looking like Candace is looking around, looking for some cross streets to text her in that moment. Very possible Candace lets Alicia know her location, then Alicia gets his location back to Tucson. And it might be wraps for Reg going into this next episode, I'm not gonna lie. Which is very crazy to me. This man Reg is getting held up before Nuck even gets found out for actually killing Rob. Shit is sick. I'm saying this like he's not totally trying to rob somebody's house right now. We get Darnell in this episode. He's attending the rehab facility he was at with Damien not too many episodes ago. He's talking to the grieving partners lady, just venting to her about how he's been feeling recently. Hearing his concerns regarding how he's going to take Jada passing, she decides to give him the idea of putting on an alive funeral, where he basically just celebrates somebody's life who's on the verge of dying while they're still alive. Said she wishes she could have did the same with her husband, and so she gives Darnell this idea so that he can preserve Jada's life even further. So he does so, and it's a really beautiful event. We see a lot of characters come out for Jada. Some that I really didn't like the masseuse that she was messing with earlier on in the series. I thought that was a really weird inclusion. Like, why did bro have to show as an ex in the past? Like, I don't know. I mean, I know the Shy is very community based, and they have an assortment of characters from different seasons that they can bring back at any time that they want to, which I do like from time to time. You know, we've seen that with Reg and Detective Tucson this season. But the masseuse, though, I just don't really feel like he needed to come back. Maybe I'm underselling their connection. I mean, they haven't really spoken in like 4 seasons. He didn't even get much screen time. But I guess you could say the same thing about Christian's mom when she talked with Kiesha earlier on this season, because that didn't really play a part in Keisha's development this season at all, in my opinion. It was just more so just an information dump letting you know, hey, Christian is gone now. Maybe I'm just hating, but at the very least, he came over here and he showed love to Jada, so I gotta appreciate that. Yeah, everybody giving speeches in this episode for Jada, including Tracy, who's ironically the first one, but we don't get to hear anything she said. That shit was mad funny. I mean, we don't get to hear anything anybody really says outside of Emmett, but it was just hilarious that as soon as Tracy gets the mic, they said, nope. We got all of like 2 or 3 lines of this episode, because earlier on in the episode, Kiesha and her meet up with Jada, just asking her if she would consider getting a second opinion. She says it's not really a point, just wants to make sure that they're gonna be okay when she passes. I mean, it's just so unfortunate. The more I hear that Jada's going away for her, the more I'm just like, damn, man, y'all really couldn't think of nothing else for Jada to do this season, huh? Have her cancer come back. Meanwhile, I got niggas like Tracy who come back every 3 episodes. When she comes back, she has all of 3 lines. That shit is crazy to me. I also found it funny that Darnell called Tracy Jada's best friend in this episode, considering their history with Ronnie. Speaking of Darnell, did y'all peep my boy was mad choked up this whole episode? The actor's doing a great job of displaying this pain that he's feeling through his voice. I gotta give him credit for that. Speaking of voices, Emmett tries to give his speech in this episode to Jada, but he can't even get 2 lines out before he starts crying, understandably so. Darnell a real pops for finishing that speech though. Emmett, well written, my brother. You get the infamous conversation that I spoke on earlier this week in my trailer breakdown video. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and tap into that after this recap. Jada essentially tells Emmett that her and Kiesha and the kids need to leave Chicago. It's too dangerous here now. He tells him to promise her that he'll leave, and he doesn't really give her an answer in this moment, but I'm kind of figuring that Emmett and Kiesha are going to leave Chicago at some point, leading to their characters being written off the show. So we'll see what happens in this finale episode. I mean, they haven't gotten married yet. Maybe they'll start off the next season on the show, get married in like the first 2 episodes, and then leave. Y'all leave y'all theories in the comments. Y'all think Emmett and Kiesha should go get married at the beginning of the season and then just walk off? Or how do y'all feel like that shit's gonna happen with them? Because I think that it's basically written literally that they're gonna be written off the show. But how do y'all see that happening? Let me know in the comments. Other things that happen in this episode, we get Jamal and Dom at their therapy session. They finally came to a conclusion that they don't want to have kids, so we just wasted like an episode and a half going over this. Despite coming to this compromise though, there's more issues. I mean, understandably so. You get married, it's not always gonna be flowers and roses, but damn, y'all had no conversations about anything. Jamal talking about she don't allow me to assert my dominance as a man. He's seen her playing with toys. So he's mad because he's like, yo, why you need toys if you got me? She like, you can't always satisfy me, da-da-da-da. And the therapist just throws out the same shit she's been saying this whole time. Like, compromise, I gotta learn how to live with each other. It's not always gonna be easy, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, I don't care. If there's one thing I can say I like about these interactions is that at least they're keeping it real in terms of how things can be in relationships. It's highlighting couples therapy and how it does work, as we've seen through their compromise to not have kids now. Later on in the episode, we got Jamal meeting up with the pastor, explaining the situation, and Pastor Z gives him some great advice. Next time you see her playing with toys, try to jump in with her. He'll probably like that shit. Now Jamal hearing that from a man of God, he probably like, amen, you feel what I'm saying? Speaking of a man of God, we got Pastor Charles trying to become co-pastor of Papa's church, but Pastor Zeke not going for that until he decides to settle down on one woman. She could be a white woman. I wouldn't advise it personally, but just don't bring her to the church if that's what you decide to do. But one thing I will say, you gotta decide on somebody, because you just out here freaking on anybody you can. That's not godly. So I guess next season we'll see Pastor Charles get with somebody. I mean, I don't really care. You got Pastor Zeke later getting on Papa's pulpit, where he explains everywhere he went wrong in his life leading up to this point, how he was negligent of his family, and how now in his life he wants to give more to his family and let them know that he's there for them 100%. While kind of getting into his personal business on the podcast as well. His wife ain't like that. They had a conversation where she's basically like, yo, I understand you're this public figure, probably think of yourself a little bigger than you actually are, but me and Kenya are private. We don't want our business out there like that. Even Kenya addressed that to Lene earlier on in this episode. I do respect the pastor acknowledging where he went wrong in his situation, and I really do hope for the sake of his future relationship with his family that he heard what his ex-wife was telling him. We know the pastor loved being in the limelight, but hopefully his family is able to ground him, keep him in a space where he doesn't feel like he needs to promote his family in order to get more people to attend the church, if you get what I'm saying. We get Shaad taking the shorty that he met in the last episode on a date to Smokey, and I was really loving the interaction in this episode. I hope Shaad can lock that down. She seemed like a real one. She tells him she makes candles knowing she won't make a lot of money for it, but still does it because she loves it. After he expresses to her how low he's been feeling after getting out of jail trying to find work, when she tells him this, he says, oh, so you think we could be broke together? She says, nah, we could be happy together first. So I hope these things work out for Shaad. We gotta look at his past in this episode. We see he was neglected by his mother coming up, but we also know he's felt inferior in his past relationships in the shop. Hopefully they're able to make this work. I'm rooting for you, my boy. Then we got Tiff and Nuck in this episode, who I don't even want to talk about. Obviously the showrunners are trying to throw them together so that when Tiff finds out that Nuck actually could rob, it's more shocking, I guess. But that shit don't be moving me. I don't know.